You hate yourself in silence. Have you ever felt like you're your own worst enemy? You know that moment when a great opportunity comes your way, and instead of grabbing it, you find reasons why you're not good enough? Or when you're about to try something new, and that voice in your head whispers, "You'll probably fail anyway, so why even bother?" Maybe you've caught yourself sabotaging relationships just when they start getting serious, or procrastinating on that project that could change your life, or being so harsh on yourself that you wouldn't dare speak to a stranger the way you speak to yourself in your mind. If any of this sounds familiar, then welcome. You're not alone, and more importantly, you're not broken. What you're experiencing has a name, and Freud had some fascinating insights about why we sometimes become our own biggest obstacle. Before we dive deep into your psyche, hit that subscribe button if you want to understand your mind better. And stick around. By the end of this video, you might finally understand why you've been fighting yourself all along. The problem unveiled. Here's what most people don't realize. When you consistently work against your own interests, it's not just low self-esteem or lack of confidence. Those are symptoms, not the root cause. Think about it. Why would a rational person deliberately choose the harder path? Why would someone intelligent repeatedly make decisions that hurt their future self? Why do we ghost people who genuinely care about us, or quit jobs right before a promotion, or delete that creative project we've been working on for months? The easy answer is to blame external factors. I'm just not lucky. The timing wasn't right. I'm not talented enough. But what if I told you that sometimes, deep in your unconscious mind, there's a part of you that doesn't actually want you to succeed? Freud called this the death drive, or Thanatos. And before you roll your eyes and think, not everything is about death, Freud, hear me out. This isn't about wanting to literally die. It's about something much more subtle and much more common. Imagine your psyche as a battlefield. On one side, you have Eros, your life instinct. This is the part of you that wants to grow, create, love, build meaningful relationships, and pursue your dreams. It's the voice that says, go for it, and you deserve good things. But on the other side, you have Thanatos, not exactly a death wish, but more like an unconscious drive toward, let's call it, psychological entropy. It's the part that whispers, stay small, don't risk it. You'll probably fail anyway, so why even bother? And here's the kicker. Thanatos doesn't present itself as your enemy. It disguises itself as your protector. Modern manifestations. Let's get specific about how this shows up in your daily life, because Freud's theories aren't just dusty academic concepts. They're playing out on your phone screen right now. The social media spiral. You post something you're proud of, then immediately start checking for likes and comments. When the response isn't what you'd hoped for, instead of thinking, maybe people are just busy, your inner Thanatos kicks in. See, nobody cares about what you do. You should stop trying to create things. The perfectionism trap. You have an idea for a business, a creative project, or even just redecorating your room. But instead of starting, you research for months. You plan every detail. You wait for the perfect moment. Meanwhile, months turn into years, and you never actually begin. Thanatos convinced you that imperfect action was worse than no action at all. The relationship saboteur. Someone genuinely likes you, maybe even loves you. They're kind, attractive, and emotionally available. So what do? You start finding flaws. You create drama. You pull away just when intimacy deepens. Why? Because Thanatos whispers, this is too good to be true. Better end it before they realize you're not worth it. The career killer. You're doing well at work. Your boss mentions a promotion. Instead of celebrating, you start showing up late, making careless mistakes, or picking fights with colleagues. It's like you're trying to prove that you don't deserve success. The comparison game. Instead of being inspired by others' achievements, you use them as evidence of your own inadequacy. Every success story becomes proof that you're falling behind, not motivation to keep going. And here's what's fascinating. In every single one of these scenarios, you think you're being realistic or protecting yourself, but you're actually participating in a sophisticated form of self-destruction that Freud would recognize immediately. The Freudian deep dive. So why does your mind do this to you? According to Freud, it goes back to a fundamental tension in human psychology. Eros, your life drive, is all about building up, creating connections, pursuing pleasure, growing, expanding your world. It's optimistic, sometimes naively so. It believes in possibilities.
Thanatos, on the other hand, seeks to return to a state of calm, of non-tension. And the ultimate state of no tension is, well, not existing. But since you're not literally trying to not exist, Thanatos manifests as a drive towards psychological safety, which often means staying exactly where you are, even if where you are isn't making you happy. Think of Thanatos as your psychological immune system gone haywire. Just like how allergies are your immune system attacking harmless things like pollen, Thanatos attacks opportunities, relationships, and experiences that could actually be good for you, treating them as threats. But here's where it gets really interesting. Thanatos often wears the mask of rationality. It doesn't say, sabotage yourself. It says, be realistic. It doesn't say, avoid love. It says, protect yourself from getting hurt. It doesn't say, don't try. It says, wait until you're ready. The critic within, that harsh inner voice that comments on everything you do, that's not motivation. That's Thanatos trying to keep you small and safe. It creates impossible standards because if the standards are impossible, you never have to risk failing at something achievable. The comfort zone prison. You know that feeling of being simultaneously bored and terrified of change? That's Thanatos convincing you that familiar misery is safer than unfamiliar joy. And the self-fulfilling prophecy. When you expect to fail, you unconsciously behave in ways that make failure more likely. Then, when you do fail, Thanatos gets to say, see, I told you so. Good thing I was protecting you. Freud observed that this isn't conscious. You're not deliberately choosing to sabotage yourself. It's happening in your unconscious mind, which is why it feels so automatic and why it's so hard to stop just by trying to think positive. The modern context. Now, let's be honest. Freud was working in Vienna over a century ago. He didn't have to deal with Instagram stories, LinkedIn updates, or dating apps. But somehow, his insights about Thanatos are more relevant than ever. We live in a culture that simultaneously demands excellence and punishes vulnerability. Social media shows us everyone else's highlight reels while we are dealing with our behind-the-scenes struggles. The result? Thanatos has more ammunition than ever. The perfectionism epidemic. We're told we can have it all and be anything. But what that really means is that anything less than having it all feels like failure. So Thanatos steps in with a solution. Don't try, and you can't fail. The comparison trap. With everyone's achievements constantly on display, your unconscious mind gets overwhelmed. Thanatos offers relief. Why compete when you'll just lose? Better to opt out entirely. The fear of authenticity. In a world where everything is curated and filtered, being genuinely yourself feels incredibly risky. What if people don't like the real you? Thanatos has an answer. Keep the mask on, stay surface level, don't let anyone too close. The burnout culture. We've turned self-care into another form of productivity and wellness into another thing to achieve. When even relaxation becomes a performance, Thanatos offers the ultimate escape, complete shutdown. But here's where Freud would find most interesting about our modern situation. We have more tools than ever for
for self-awareness, yet we often use them to beat ourselves up more effectively. We read about mental health, then use that knowledge to diagnose ourselves with everything. We learn about toxic behaviors, then see them everywhere, especially in ourselves. The irony is that in trying to fix ourselves, we often strengthen exactly the patterns we're trying to break. The Freudian solution. So what would Freud suggest? How do you stop being your own worst enemy? First, and this is crucial, you don't fight Thanatos directly. That's like trying to wrestle with your shadow. The harder you fight it, the stronger it becomes. Instead, Freud's approach is about bringing these unconscious patterns into conscious awareness. Step 1. Recognize the pattern. Start noticing when you sabotage yourself. Not to judge it, just to see it. Keep a simple log. Today I talked myself out of applying for that job. Or I picked a fight with my partner right after they said they loved me. Or I deleted my creative project before anyone could see it. The goal isn't to stop the behavior immediately, it's to make the unconscious conscious. You can't change what you can't see. Step 2. Listen without judgment. When that self-critical voice starts up, don't try to silence it. Listen to it like you would listen to a small, scared child. What is it actually afraid of? Usually it's trying to protect you from rejection, failure, disappointment, vulnerability. Thank it for trying to keep you safe, then gently ask, but is staying safe worth staying stuck? Step 3. Start small. Thanatos hates big changes because they feel threatening, but it often ignores small ones. Want to start exercising? Don't plan a complete fitness transformation. Put on workout clothes. Want to be more social? Don't plan to become an extrovert. Text one person. Small actions bypass the unconscious resistance because they don't trigger the alarm bells. Step 4. Practice self-compassion. Here's something Freud might not have emphasized enough, but modern psychology confirms. Treating yourself with the same kindness you'd show a good friend actually weakens Thanatos. The harsh inner critic loses power when you stop agreeing with it. Step 5. Seek professional help. Freud believed deeply in the power of analysis, having someone trained to see your blind spots. You don't have to lie on a couch talking about your mother, unless you want to, but therapy can help you identify patterns you're too close to see yourself. The goal isn't to eliminate Thanatos, it's part of your psyche for a reason. The goal is to stop letting it run your life unconsciously.
Integration and practical steps. Let's get practical for a moment. How do you actually apply this understanding to your daily life? The daily check-in. Each evening, ask yourself, where did I support my growth today and where did I work against it? Notice both without judgment. You're becoming a detective of your own psyche. The Thanatos translator. When you catch yourself in self-destructive thinking, try translating it. I'm not good enough becomes I'm scared of not being good enough. This will probably fail becomes I'm afraid of failing. Fear is something you can work with. Absolute statements are not. The 5% rule. Instead of trying to completely change overnight, which Thanatos will resist, commit to being 5% braver, 5% kinder to yourself, 5% more willing to try. Small percentages add up to massive changes over time. The support system. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, not just your problems. Thanatos thrives in isolation, but weakens in healthy community. The growth mindset. Remember that every time you catch yourself in self-sabotage, you're actually making progress. Awareness is the first step to change, and noticing a pattern means you're already breaking free from unconscious repetition. Here's something important to understand. This work isn't about becoming perfect or eliminating all self-doubt. It's about developing a healthier relationship with the parts of yourself that are scared, critical, or resistant to change. You're not trying to win a war against yourself. You're trying to negotiate a peace treaty. The call to freedom. So here's what I want you to understand. That voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that convinces you to quit before you start, that finds problems with every opportunity, that's not the voice of wisdom. It's not protecting you from realistic disappointment. It's Thanatos trying to keep you exactly where you are because where you are feels safe, even if it doesn't feel good. The truth is, most of what we call self-protection is actually self-imprisonment. You are not your harshest critic. You are not your worst impulses. You are not the sum of your self-sabotaging behaviors. Those are patterns running in your unconscious mind, and patterns can be changed once you see them clearly. Freud spent his life trying to show people that they had more power over their inner world than they realized. Not complete power, we all have unconscious forces at work, but more power than we think. Every time you choose growth over safety, authenticity over perfection, or self-compassion over self-criticism, you're strengthening Eros and weakening Thanatos' grip on your life. The question isn't whether you'll ever completely stop being your own worst enemy. The question is whether you're ready to stop letting that enemy run your life unconsciously. So let me ask you again, have you ever felt like you're your own worst enemy? If the answer is yes, now you know you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not stuck. What feels like an unchangeable part of your personality is actually an unconscious pattern that can be brought into the light and transformed. Maybe the thing that's been holding you back isn't outside circumstances, bad luck, or lack of opportunity. Maybe it's time to make peace with the part of yourself that's been trying to keep you small. I want to hear from you. Have you ever caught yourself in the act of self-sabotage? What did that look like in your life? Share your story in the comments. Sometimes the most powerful healing happens when we realize we're not the only ones fighting this particular battle. If this video helped you understand something about yourself, hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into the mysteries of your own mind. And remember, awareness is always the first step to freedom. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think you are.